Well, welcome viewers. Welcome Barry.
Welcome my viewers out there for another lovely sunny day, Colin. Very good.
Yep. So hello viewers. Well, welcome again to a Monday with Barry, and we'll get all the updates and a little bit of nostalgia today.
Back on the old days in Richmond, the dark days of Richmond, Colin. We get a bit of a laugh out of this, I'll tell you now.
Okay. So people will be laughing at the end of this video, or
Well,
maybe during the video. We've got a little bit of a solemn thing to talk about as well.
Yeah, just to remind the viewers how unwell I was about 45 years ago in that car accident.
Peatling may miss rest of season, and we see that you fractured your neck.
Fractured my skull and fractured my neck, Colin. I forgot about my fractured neck, for God's sake. Fractured skull was bad enough, but a fractured neck's not too flash. But that was early in the season, 1963. Actually, I was picked first rover for the Wimbledon League that year, Colin. I meant to tell you, it was last time I put this on here. I was picked first rover. Tommy Middleton for the selectors of the Warrnambool Football Club rang up on the Thursday night before I had the accident on Saturday and said, Barry, you are first rover for the interleague side, which I was picked the year before too, but I didn't get a run. But very bad. So I could have been. I was just starting to pick up my form extra at 63 after being there 3 years, and I was stepping up. But that happened on a Saturday night after coming home from Dimberlin. I was driving, and this mate of mine, Johnny Bruce, he took over from Mattel about 9 miles from Rapanic. I was feeling a bit tired, and anyway, next thing I wake up in hospital on the Sunday. Or half woke up on Sunday. Nearly dead. And there I am in traction in St John of God's Hospital in Ballarat. The first traction they used in the Ballarat St John of God's Hospital for a broken neck. I reckon I was told later, months ago later, that if it happened 5 years ago, I would have been gone. I was there 6 weeks like that. Nearly drove me mad. And I come out of that and get another 6 weeks of plaster all over my body, not around my head, all over my body, Colin, right over. 6 weeks of that, and then so here I am still in one piece, I don't know how.
There you are with Tommy Hafey. Yeah, well, that's very interesting, isn't it? So you're going to tell us now about some funny stories.
Yes, growing up in Richmond.
Who did you hang around with? Was it the tea lady? Did you hang around with the tea lady?
I hung around with a few knockabout fellas in Richmond. I'll just give you all their names. There's a bit of a laugh here. Where was
Whitey?
Whitey died 4 months ago. Whitey Kincaid was the coin. He was a very good mate of mine. So I'll give them all the nicknames. Get ready, viewers.
Give us the nicknames.
Bluey, it was a 410 rounds. Whitey, who died 3 months ago. Spook, he could fight. Billy Moo, he could fight. Silly Bill the Silly. Big Moose and Little Moose, our big brothers, 2 Dapies. Gus and Macca.
Yeah.
And that was our group. It wasn't a gang, Colin, it was a group.
So you weren't a gang?
Nah.
You weren't hoodlums?
If anybody started, they were in trouble.
You weren't sort of beating up old ladies?
No, well, I was probably the smallest in the group, and the youngest.
So you weren't pickpocketing?
No pickpocketing, but no, we never looked for trouble.
Vandalism?
We used to have our own little corner of Bridge Road and Neptune Street. We used to meet up there and leave every night during the week. This was between I was about 14 and 17. That's when you're starting to feel in your water, Colin. And we used to sort of hang around, and we'd never look for trouble.
Any vandalism?
No, we might have knocked out a few, what do you call those street lights? Sometimes we used to have a bit of target practice when I was about 12.
Sounds like a bit of wanton vandalism.
No, it wasn't really much. We were
any sort of pickpocketing or anything like that?
No, but we knew little stupid Kenny Hurst. I didn't mention him. He's a bit of a dickhead, but he was a bit of an urge at the racetrack. He's still an urger. I seen him in the morning races last year. 6'8" he is, and about 3 stone.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, did you ever cross swords with the police?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, Colin. I had never looked for trouble, but we'd be coming over the pitches some nights, and next thing the cop was pull a big van up, big black van I was back in them days, Colin. They'd pull up and just put us all against the wall, about 6 of us coming over the pitches, doing nothing, just walking down the street, and bang against the wall. And
police?
Put your hands up and whack you in the stomach and check your pockets if you had any guns or whatever.
Are you going to go for any sort of compensation?
Is there any chance of 35 years delayed action, is it? You can get it?
Well, you might be getting flashbacks and memories and...
Well, I could be having some sort of fits or something,
seeing a psychologist.
No, but I could say I've seen
You want an apology from the government?
But they were mongrels. We were, that toughened us up. I tell you now, we sort of half expected some nights because they'd have nothing to do with them coppers some nights. There'd be 4 of them. They just whack against the windows of the shops in the street and bang, crash. Yeah, get home, you people. Catch you in the street again, they'll lock you up.
Sounds terrible.
Mm.
So tell us about Phil Harris.
Phil Harrison and Nos.
Harrison,
After I'd sort of, between 13 and 16, I was knocking around all those fellows I just mentioned before, but then when Phil Harrison, a mate of mine who still is living in Kansas at the moment, used to be him, Nos and BP, that was me.
Mm-hmm.
We were the group probably from about 17 or about 19, and I went up for a penny then, but PH, he was a good street fighter too, he could handle himself, but Nos was a bit of a sook, but he was a very good piano player, played in a couple of bands.
Mm.
But Phil Harrison, I'm still pretty close to him. He's in Kansas at the moment. He's been there for 10 years, but he rings me up occasionally, and I might go up there. The next 3 months just for 3 or 4 days up there. I can because it's monsoon time up there, man. Kansas.
I know.
I don't think I fancy going up there and get blown away. But him and I, Phil Harrison and me, we're still pretty close. So we went to school in the first grade over Lithgow Street in Abbotsford, Collingwood, and then we didn't see each other for about 5 years, but now I've still been in contact. He's the same age as me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell us about an incident, how you stopped trams on Bridge Road.
Very interesting, this, Colin. I'm talking about, I said before, 3 or 4 minutes ago, that we used to walk home from pictures, and this night we're coming home from the pictures, and we're standing on the corner of Cotton Street and Bridge Road in Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing we seen a fellow called Steve Nitties run towards us, who was Australian bantamweight champion, running towards us, and a fellow chased him behind us. So they did up towards Cotton Street. So when Collins comes up, Tommy Collins was chasing him, and Steve Nitties is backed off in the middle of the road. This is true.
True story.
Jack backed off. And Collins is about to go and grab him, so Steve pulls out this little sawn-off shotgun, about this long it was.
Okay.
And I'm standing about 20 feet away.
Mm.
Watching all this. Next thing, here Collins, he used to fight under Tommy Collins, he's dead now. His name was Rishi Collins back in them days. And when Rishi Collins had said, "Don't miss, Steve," the next thing Steve's gone bang.
With a sawn-off shotgun.
He's only about 10 feet away from Collins, and he's hit him in the shot, and he sort of half went down, then Steve took off. Back towards down Bridge Road down on Neptune Street, and he got away that night. And but I found out later, about 2 or 3 weeks later, when Collins got over his shot, he got half a shoulder shot off, but he went down and fired a shot over Stephen Nitty's head and down one of the SB lanes. And that was that
was the night the tram stopped.
But there was trams all banked up. I forgot to mention that the trams are all banked. They're in the middle of the road of Bridge Road. All trams are all banked up. And people was wondering, where are we, in Chicago or somewhere?
Some sort of gangster town, and that was you.
We were there, and I'll never forget as long as I live, because 10 feet away you seen someone firing a shot, because we scarfed it too, we took off. Amazing.
We must sort of just, on this video, just sort of talk about a tribute that happened in the last week or so, where David Alexander Biaggi, or Max Biaggi, as a lot of people call him, just recently died at the tender age of 26 years old, almost 27, and they had the funeral over here at the
footy ground.
And you went.
I was there in full spirit, and I cannot believe the crowd there, Colin. I reckon it'd be at least, I was talking to Jan, the secretary, a couple of days ago. I said to Jan, this could have been close to 700, 800 people. I mean, that's a lot of people in the football ground, and it was very emotional. Even Anthony Lewis, I was seeing him, he was still had tears in his eyes after service. And it was a very, very, very moving. His father got up, he spoke very well, and his sister got up, and they all paid their respects to Biaggi. He was a fantastic fellow. I still can't get over his death, but he got a very good send-off, and they played the Chelsea Football Club music, and they timed it to perfection. At the time the hearse left the middle of the ground, to get out the ground, the song started and finished at the right time. It was very, very well done, and very sad day, and all the footballers are there, even Dame. I was talking to Damon, he doesn't know where he's going next year, and I was talking to Gary Carmody, and they still, Gary Carmody's got a Bond Beach, but no, it was a very, very somber day, Colin, but it won't be forgotten for a while, I'll tell you now.
Because it's too young to die, 26.
26, God help.
And he came back, he got the cancer, and they thought he went into remission. He came back, but you see, he wasn't quite right.
And I found out later last Thursday that he was playing he played every game last year.
Yeah.
August the 26th, his last game. He told Chappell, he said, don't tell the fellas, my teammates, that Chappell knew that he wasn't very well at all. But to see him play, I mean, he was still putting in on the football ground. And he was going through agony, and he died 3 weeks after the football season. So it's a tribute to himself to not even show any, didn't want any sympathy.
Yep.
How tough that?
Very tough. So that's a very sad occasion. So, so that's that.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's no news on the recruit front.
No, nothing. As I said, I spoke to Dame. It wasn't probably the right time he talked, but anyway, Chappell was there. He didn't go up in the room. I went up in the rooms after the funeral. I said to Damon, I said, what are you doing? He said, I don't know. But Gary's going to Bond Beach, and I was talking to Chrissy Warner. He's in the rooms after the funeral. He's been appointed to Hampton Football Club. He's a good fellow, Chrissy Warner. He'll do all right. He said, I'll be coming back to watch Chelsea on odd days of not playing, and but I seen Ryan Stewart and Nyes and Sibby down the beach yesterday. They're in pretty good nick, and they're moving on. So he said, basically we'll organise something. We'll get some recruits and get back on business, and they're pretty confident.
So they're not moving on.
They're moving on because
moving on means they're going somewhere else.
No, they're moving on with life.
Okay.
I mean, because everyone's getting, we lost all the players. I mean, you just got to get over it. And I said to Stu, I said, I think you should be captain next year.
Okay. So you put your hat in the ring for him.
I reckon he should be captain.
So you've heard it here first.
Well, I said a couple of years ago he's potentially a future captain for Chelsea, and I think he looks $1 million. The fitters, and because Nyes, he looks $1 million too. So with a bit of luck, we'll get some nice new recruits, Chelsea Footy Club, stick with them.
All right, just before we go, just want to, you got a few photos from the funeral.
Oh yeah.
And we'll put it at the end of this video.
Colin, his ingenuity, will put them on after this little interview and show the crowd how many people was there, and very good.
All right, well that's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye for me. Where's the camera? Up here.